Elden Ring was the most anticipated game of the year. I know I personally was really excited for it, and I have been live streaming a playthrough, and so far I'm loving it, aside from the technical problems it has, which are definitely disappointing. AAA games should launch near perfectly, besides the occasional glitch or bug, and Elden Ring has some big problems with FPS drops, stuttering, crashing, but the overall content of the game has been really great, and of course, we all knew when it released, journalists would find something to complain about, and the larger the release, the more they complain. And of course, like clockwork, they are attacking everything about this game: the character customization system, the difficulty, and everything in between. I have a few things to show off, but before we get into the topic at hand, if you enjoy the content that I create, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Follow me on social media like Twitter or mine so that you can see when my content is posted. And of course, if you do really enjoy the videos and the live streams that I create, please consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon for just $1 a month, or supporting the channel via YouTube memberships. All of the links are in the description, and of course, I do really appreciate all of the support. So I wanted to start with this The Verge article, which is probably one of the most ridiculous I've seen so far. It says Elden Ring's character creator fails black players. And it's okay if you want to put out an article talking about how you don't think the customization system is good enough, but to specifically say this character creator fails specific types of people, it's just not good enough. How could the developers forget about a group of people? And the way that they presented their argument here definitely sounds more like whining. It says, most of you playing Elden Ring are probably knee-deep in the lands between, getting your shit rocked by that asshole on the horse, but my mind hasn't left the game's first menu. So first of all, they're attacking one of the bosses. It's okay, it's a Souls game. Some of the bosses are really, really annoying, but it says, though the many classes present a paralyzing wealth of options, it's not the question of what class to play that has me stuck. It's the character creator. Of course, it says it's got some great options for the facial features, but it only has one kinky hair option. It says, I didn't expect much from Elden Ring's character creator. From Software games have a bit of a reputation for being kinda bad at character creation, especially regarding skin. In Bloodborne, skin colors and textures were distinctly unnatural looking. My character was this orangey looking mess of a human, and there were precisely zero kinky hair options. Elden Ring is a decided step up. Skin colors and face shading look natural. I tinkered with it for a good hour, setting my sliders just right to make an avatar that I think looks as much like me as I can get. So they're praising some of the things that this game offers, like some of the skin colors are pretty good compared to other From Software games, and I think that this character creator is pretty good for the most part, but of course, in this game, like in the Demon Souls remake, they decided to remove genders, and there is simply body type A and body type B, and I don't like the monstrosities that they present to you, because there's only one option for body type A, one option for body type B. I like to be able to pick a masculine looking character and a male character, or a more feminine female character right off the bat. I don't like the type A, type B system. Of course, there are specific people that have complained about them using genders for years, like these types of journalists, and that's why they removed genders. But, of course, when they start removing things, these people feel like they can complain about anything, and they're going to get more of what they want. It says, for the first time in a From Software game, I can make a character who looks like a real human instead of a near approximation of one. Elden Ring's character creator is also technically a step up because of it. Instead of having no kinky hair options like in Bloodborne, they have an afro, and an ugly one at that. Of course, there's something to complain about. There's not enough hair options in this game for them. And let's keep in mind that 90% of the game, you have a helmet on. You don't even see your character's face. You don't see the hair. You don't see all of the time that you put into the customization. Your character's face and their hairstyle is completely covered for most of the game. And again, I do think it's fair if they want to say, hey, listen, maybe you should add more character customization options. Maybe you should add more of these types of hairstyles. But of course, they go into the developers not doing good enough, them dropping the ball with this customization system. Character creators are also a place in which I am uniquely made aware of my race. Make no mistake, America delights in reminding me daily that I am a black woman and that it, through the systems that spawned and continue to define it, utterly hates me and other marginalized people. Of course, they're going into real life discussions. They can't just keep it to the video game. They can't just say, hey, developers, you dropped the ball here. You should have added more options. No. They go into America, reminding them of specific things every single day. Here is another article from the Daily Beast that complains about the difficulty of the game, saying how it should have an easy mode. I've got a list of articles like these. Oh, attacking the character creation system, attacking the difficulty, attacking everything about this title. This one says Elden Ring should have an easy mode, which I completely disagree with. I think some of the best parts of beating these games are because of the difficulty. You're fighting really hard bosses, you are fighting a lot of difficult mobs. You have to be very careful, and if you're not careful, you end up regretting your decisions. I think that that's the excitement about these Souls-esque games, and Elden Ring was a title that a lot of people were looking forward to because while it's not Dark Souls 4 and it's got new lore, it's got this big new story, this big open world concept, it's still at its core a Souls-esque game. It says, now most will find that statement uncontroversial. Who wouldn't want the latest gaming phenomenon to be experienced by as many people as possible? Sure, interactive accessibility has a long way to go, but there have been great strides made in recent years to give players of varying capabilities the chance to see stories through. Of course, they're basically setting up for, if you dislike the fact that people want an easy mode, you're a terrible person. You're not thinking about the people who can't beat a hard game. It says, but that isn't how From Software does things. This Office Software turned gaming pioneer is notorious for the denseness of its releases. Not every game has to be for every person, and I say this all the time when talking about Souls titles. You do not have to play a game. While yes, it looks cool and it looks fun, if it's too hard for you, you don't have to play it. No one's forcing you. There are plenty of games that are fantasy, that have dragons and trolls and sorcerers and warriors that you can play that are not Elden Ring, that are not a Souls game. And this is another article that I found that's actually from a couple of months ago, but it talks about issues that they thought Elden Ring would face, and I wanted to bring it up. It says Elden Ring will drown in the same abyss of racism and misogyny that swallowed Dark Souls. This title wasn't even out, and they found something to complain about. They said, oh, the other Souls games are drowning in racism, in misogyny. So of course, because this game is being made by the same people, it's going to suffer the same issues. I personally have played most of the Souls games, all of the Souls games, actually, and I don't see a misogyny problem. I don't see this racism problem that these people are going on about. It says, From Software's largest and most successful project thus far has been Dark Souls. Initially released all the way back in 2011, this critically acclaimed game became popular by providing gamers with a grueling challenge, along with providing gamers with an innovative online multiplayer system. There is an enormous elephant in the room that Dark Souls fans have refused to address up until this very day, namely that the game is rooted in hatred and misogyny, and we do not care if the community is not ready to talk about it yet. We are still going to have that conversation. It says, the reason for this decline of civilization is implied to be that a dark energy known as humanity, which was carried by a small number of POCs, began spreading among the populace. Of course, they're saying, oh, the darkness in the game is terrible. It means something. And then, oh, of course, the savior is the white light. This is the best that game journalists have to complain about. Instead of praising the fact that they created this whole entire genre of games, and they've always provided such deep lore and amazing stories and good combat in these titles. No, they just had to find something to complain about. These journalists are either just looking for hate clicks because otherwise they're not getting views, or they're literally injecting their own insecurities and concepts into their articles because none of what they suggest were the intentions of the developers. This is, of course, why I do not like most game journalists. I think 95% of game journalists are absolute hacks, and this is why I don't like a lot of journalists, because they make themselves look ridiculous. They're complaining about the smallest things. They're trying to attack games based on other titles companies have made. And while Elden Ring, yes, at this point does have a lot of technical problems, the story's really good, the combat's really good. It's a really interesting game so far, and I'm loving it, and a lot of people are as well. But of course, that's all that I had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments section down below. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.